The liars, the cheaters, the manipulators. They're not just surviving, they're thriving. They take shortcuts, they bend the rules, and somehow the world rewards them. Florence, 1512, a city dripping in blood and betrayal. Machiavelli, once a rising star in the Florentine government, was arrested, tortured, and banished. Imagine this. Your hands are tied behind your back. You're hoisted into the air by a rope, your shoulders screaming as your entire weight yanks against the sockets. Then, bam! They drop you, jerking your arms so hard you're sure something just snapped. Over and over again. That's the strappado. And, yeah, Machiavelli endured that shit. His crime, backing the wrong team in Florence's endless cycle of political bullshit, betrayed by his city, his colleagues, and the system he thought he understood. Machiavelli walked out of that dungeon not just broken, obliterated. Exiled to a crumbling farmhouse, stripped of everything, he was no longer a player in the game of power. Just picture the rage, the humiliation, waking up every day knowing the world screwed you over, and there's no one left to blame but yourself. But if Florence wanted a monster, he'd give them one, and so he wrote The Prince, not as some villain's bedtime story, but as a brutal guide for survival in a world that eats the good alive. Hey, rockers! This isn't about glorifying evil. It's about understanding power and deciding how far you're willing to go to claim it. Because once you hear what it takes, you may not like the answer. Are you ready to rock? Let's rock that wisdom!
It is better to be feared than loved, if you cannot be both.
Machiavelli knew the price of being loved. Weakness. People love you until it costs them. Fear, on the other hand, fear stays. Look at Cesare Borgia, the man Machiavelli admired most. When Borgia conquered a rebellious city, he didn't waste time with speeches or second chances. He invited his enemies to a meeting under the guise of peace, then had them executed. By morning, the city was his.
Men are quicker to forget the death of a father than the loss of a patrimony.
Machiavelli's message is ruthless but clear. People care more about what they lose than who they lose. So what does this mean for you? No, you don't need to kill all your opponents unless you're gunning for a throne. But think about this. Someone borrows money from you and forgets to pay it back. You let it slide once, then twice. Now they think you're an easy mark. The next time they come asking for money or whatever the fuck, you don't just say no. You calmly remind them of the unpaid debt, and then you stop. And it's that silence after the no, that does the work. That uncertainty, that quiet tension, is the fear. It's not fireworks or yelling. It's just a quiet, unshakable refusal to be taken for a moron. Yeah, fear works, but only if you use it with precision. Want to avoid burning everything to the ground. Machiavelli understood something most people don't. Cruelty's not about going full psycho. It's a scalpel, not a chainsaw. Random chaos makes enemies. Strategic ruthlessness makes results. That's power. That's how you win.
Injuries should be inflicted all at once, so that their ill effect may be forgotten sooner. Benefits should be given out slowly, so that they may be enjoyed longer.
Look at Cesare Borgia, Machiavelli's Gold Star student in Ruthlessness. When Borgia conquered a rebellious province, he hired an enforcer to fix the problem. The guy did his job too well. His brutal tactics worked, but they turned the people into a simmering pot of resentment. So, Borgia did what Machiavelli would call a masterstroke. He dragged the enforcer into the square, executed him in front of the people and said, "See, problem solved." All at once, the anger disappeared, and Borgia was their hero. Imagine being Borgia, standing there as the crowd cheers, knowing you're the one who set the whole thing up. You ordered the violence, and you made the fix. That's the price of power. It demands cold decisions and colder consequences. But rewards don't work the same way. If Borgia had handed out a sack of gold and walked away, the gratitude would have lasted a week. Kindness is about control. Stretch it out. One small favour here, another there, until they're hooked. So your co-worker screwed you over in any way? Fine. Next time, when the big presentation hits and you're stuck helping, you do the absolute bare minimum your job descriptor demands. No heroics, no hand-holding, let them squirm. Then, when the dust settles, toss out just enough help to make yourself look like the saviour. It's not bloody, but it's Machiavellian, and it works. But ruthlessness only works if you control the story. Let's talk about the most dangerous tool of all.
Everyone sees what you appear to be. Few experience what you really are.
Machiavelli didn't just teach rulers how to act. He taught them how to perform. Power isn't just about action, it's about perception. Sure, people love gossip. They'll dig for your flaws, whisper about your mistakes. But here's the thing. As long as you control the narrative, as long as the image you project is stronger than the rumours, the truth doesn't matter. People believe what's in front of them. So give them a show they can't look away from. Make it so loud, so convincing, that the truth doesn't even stand a chance. What? You think this is unethical? See it in this way, and it will make sense. If you're not managing how people see you, you're leaving your reputation up to chance. And that's far riskier than bending the truth in your favour. What do you think? Comment below. Take Ferdinand of Spain. While waging wars to expand his empire, he convinced the world he was acting on God's behalf. He called his wars holy crusades, cloaking ambition in religion. The people adored him, the world respected him, all while he was lining his own pockets. Sound familiar? It's the same strategy every politician uses when they wrap their agendas in freedom or the greater good. Different century, same con. Or think of that co-worker who's all about the team until they're the only one getting the promotion. Or the influencer selling authenticity while cashing in on sponsored posts. The playbook hasn't changed, it's just got a new cover.
A prince must take great care never to let anything slip from his lips that is not replete with the 5 virtues: mercy, faith, integrity, humanity, and religion.
Imagine this. You're late to work, but because you were donating blood to save a life. Or at least, that's what you tell everyone. Now, instead of getting your ass handed to you for being late, you're the office hero who puts humanity above the clock. Feel bad about it? Well, Machiavelli would look you in the eye and spit out that.
In the real world, people don't reward honesty. They reward the story that makes them feel good. They are emotion-driven.
Framing your lateness as a selfless act doesn't hurt anyone. It simply reframes the situation in a way that protects your image and aligns with their values. But perception is a double-edged sword. What happens when the image you've built starts to crack? What happens when the lies catch up or the story no longer fits? Grab a beer. You've played the game like a pro. Feared, check. Respected, check. You've won, or have you? Here's the part no one likes to talk about. Power always comes with a price, and it's usually paid in isolation, paranoia, and a growing list of enemies waiting for you to screw up. Look at Cesare Borgia, Machiavelli's poster boy for power. The man mastered fear, ruthlessness, and perception, but he made one fatal mistake. He relied too much on luck. When his father, Pope Alexander VI, died, so did his safety net. Suddenly, his enemies swarmed like rats to a sinking ship. His allies ghosted him, and his empire crumbled faster than a cheap tent in a hurricane.
A prince who relies solely on fortune is ruined when it changes.
Here's the brutal truth. Fortune's a flake, and if your power isn't built on strategy, you'll lose it the moment the wind blows the wrong way. And sure, you're not Cesare Borgia or trying to be king of some medieval backwater, but power isn't just for rulers. It's that promotion you're clawing for, the influence you wield at work, or even just getting people to respect your damn boundaries. So remember, real power isn't a fairy tale. It's walking a tightrope while juggling knives and hoping no one shakes the rope. You can't just wing it and hope for the best. Luck isn't a strategy. Keep your enemies at bay without making more. Build loyalty, but don't bet your life on it. Stay paranoid, but don't let it eat you alive. And well, if you're not up for walking the tightrope, then maybe the throne simply isn't for you. But rest assured, someone else will come for it. And they won't think twice about stepping over you to get there. So what do you think? Does evil pay off? It comes at a cost. Fear isolates you. Ruthlessness hardens you. Deception eats away at your integrity. Machiavelli wasn't saying,
Be evil.
He was saying,
Be prepared.
understand the game and decide how far you're willing to go to win it. But know this. Someone else will always be playing the game as well, and they won't wait for permission. If you're not ready to step up, don't be surprised when you're stepped over. The game of life isn't fair. It never will be. Life's rigged, always has been. But if you play with your eyes open and sharp strategy, it doesn't have to crush you.